Good morning and happy Monday. Welcome to a Snuggly Monkey unboxing. It's been a little while since I've had a chance to do one of these. The beginning of the year has been crazy busy. We just came back from QuiltCon last week, and QuiltCon was an amazing and crazy, wild experience. It was super busy. It was wonderful to get to meet so many people in person, customers that I've had for years, folks that I've met through Instagram, folks that I've worked with. So it was super fun. It was crazy busy, Robin. Our booth was full all the time, and it was great. So I came home from QuiltCon and immediately got a pretty bad head cold. So I was kind of out of it last week, trying to unpack and re-inventory and put everything away, and reordering stuff. So lots and lots of boxes have been arriving. The Toyo Toolboxes were super duper popular at QuiltCon, and the restock of these guys arrived on Friday, so they are back in the shop. These are the two kind of small boxes. This is the T190 and this is the T150. These are my own personal ones, but I use them. So like this one is full of my sashiko supplies. They're made from stainless steel, so they're magnetic. So I tend to keep a needle minder on the top lid of each one for my needles and whatnot. And then I use this smaller one, which opens the other way for a lot of my embroidery supplies. The cool part about these little boxes is that they are meant to stack on top of each other. So they have these little nubby feet here on the bottom, and the lids of all of these boxes have these little indents. So even in between the two sizes, they nest on top of each other and can fit like that. So they're super duper cute. But these boxes, we sold out of almost every color at QuiltCon, but they're all back except for the antique green is the only one that is not back, but everything else is back in stock. So you'll see those in the shop. So let's go ahead and dive in to opening up some of these boxes that are here. The first one is from Karen Stevens, and it is a good restock of all of her patterns. So Karen's patterns, the most popular one is the modern Japanese rice pouch pattern, which is this one. And so the way that Karen has the pattern written, it looks like this. And so she's got the pattern written for making the bag with these little drawstring channels on the top. I have adapted it a little bit, and I use what are called koki clips, and these are these little Japanese clips that are put on the top of rice bags. So instead of making the little drawstring channels, you just clip the clips onto the top, and then you can cinch it nice and tight. So either way, you can make them. They're very easy to make. The pattern is fantastic because it's sized. This is the size of the pattern the way it's written, but she gives you instructions on how you can size the bag larger or smaller if you want to make it larger or smaller. I also, over the weekend, got a good restock. This is the Japanese waxed cotton cording. And I have it in both the 3mm and this is the 5mm size. With the koki clips that I have in the shop, the 3mm works really nicely, and the 5mm is a little bit thicker, and it works really nicely if you're doing the channels instead. And so I've got it in like 5 different colors, but a really good restock. These are actually for rice as well. So these are called rice pouches because they were used in Japan to bring rice offerings to the temples. And so that's the kind of bag that it was used, and so that's why they're called rice pouches. All right, so we've got a good restock of Karen's patterns. Like I said, her modern, all of them are back. The modern rice pouch, the tie-on pocket is also her pattern, and that is also in this box. This is modeled after the pockets that women used to wear in the 1800s underneath their skirts when women's clothing did not have pockets. So this is just a really fun little project that you can make. And again, this is the size that I chose to make, but she gives you instructions for making them larger, for making them smaller. so you can really adjust them to whatever size you want to make. And there's a really, if you like to read and you like to learn about kind of fiber textile stuff, there's a book out there called The Pocket, and it's all about the history of women's pockets. It's a really fascinating book. So I read that and I made one of these pockets, and so that's a really fun thing to do. So anyway, so that is the restock of, like I said, this is what's in this box here is a good restock of Karen's patterns. The next box here comes from Australia, and it is from Kylie and the Machine. The woven labels were super duper popular at QuiltCon, and we sold out. I want that book. If you go to snugglymonkey.com and under the Learn tab, I have a link to all of my book lists that I maintain on bookshop.org, and the book is listed in those book lists if you want to take a look at it. All right, so one of a kind. It has pockets, is in here. Worth the effort. Size you and me. So these are little woven labels that you can attach into your, if you make clothing, if you make bags, you can sew them into the seams. You can stick them if you do embroidery, you gift hoops. You can stick them into in between the inner and the outer ring of your hoop if you want to attach one to a hoop, or you can attach it to your backing depending on how you back your hoops. This is the gauge, this is the ruler that helps you place your woven labels in your seams. Oops, it's upside down. There you go. And then the other thing that's in this box, somebody asked me about this at QuiltCon. So these are brand new, not on the site yet. I'm going to try to get them up by tonight. But Kylie and the Machine just released the number 4 edition of their super popular Sweary Sewist label collections. So these are super fun. If you're not into swear words, this is not for you. But if you are, this is a really fun collection of woven labels that are hilarious. I've stocked every single one of the collections, 1, 2, and 3, and they've always sold out pretty quickly. So number 4 is here, and it comes in this fancy little box instead of a little vinyl pouch thing. So these will be up on the website very soon. But like I said, somebody did ask me specifically about these at QuiltCon a couple weeks ago. So yes, they are here. They will be available on the site very, very soon. All right. The next box here is from Kate at Modern Hoopla. And from Kate, we've got couple different things. We have a restock of the hoop props. If you're not familiar with a hoop prop, it's this handy little wooden piece here, and what this lets you do is it lets you display your finished embroidery hoops on a shelf or a mantle or a table. You need to put your finished project in upside down, so that the locking hardware is at the bottom of your design, because that's what goes into the little notch in the hoop prop. But this can fit up to 10-inch embroidery hoops, and most of the standard like 8mm thick hoops will fit into this little notch. So that's what the hoop props are, and we've got a good restock of those because again, those were also super popular at QuiltCon, and I sold out of a lot of those. We also have a restock of the 3-inch hoop frames. So this is mostly what Kate and Modern Hoopla is known for, is her hoop frames. And so what she has done is she's created this frame system where you can take your finished embroidery hoop and pop it into one of her finished frames. It is not permanent, so the cool part is that you can switch these out. So if you buy one frame and you want to switch out your hoop art seasonally, you can do it very easily. The hoops pop into the back. Inside of this little paper, there are these little cardboard tags that she provides for you on the inside. So you use those cardboard tags to secure your hoop inside of the frame. So if you put it just like this, it's going to wiggle around and it won't stay in place. But once you have your design centered where you want it, you take the little cardboard tabs and you stuff them here into the sides. That's going to secure your hoop inside the frame, keep it nice and tight so that when you go to display it, it stays in place and you can display your hoop. So that's what's in this box, is loads more of the 3-inch size. There's also a restock of the 6-inch, this exact one, the 6-inch dark walnut round hoop is in there. But the 3-inch size seems to be really popular lately. So there's the square, the circle, and the hexagon in the white, natural, and dark walnut are all in this box. So those are back, which is always fun. All right. The next box over here is from Kohana, which was a super duper big hit at QuiltCon. First is the mini snips. These little mini snips, all of these are, Kohana is an artisan collective in Japan. So the company Kohana works with folks that specialize in these specific crafts throughout Japan, and then they export them to the world under their brand Kohana. So these little scissors are made by Japanese artisans that have been making little scissors and these little silk tassels since the 1800s. And so these little scissors, this is how tiny they are. They come with the little leather sheath and you squeeze them and they will cut through your thread. They're absolutely adorable. They do actually work. You can see they're not sharp tipped. They are round tipped. So if you need a sharp tip scissor, this is not exactly the right thing for you. But these are fantastic for a little sewing kit. They are absolutely airplane safe. So you can take them on a plane, provided that you get a TSA agent that is friendly, because TSA agents can choose to do whatever they'd like. But by law, the TSA rule is that the blade has to be less than 1 inch from the pivot point to the tip. So these are TSA approved scissors. And so they come in the blue tassel, the pink, gray, green, and yellow. And all the colors are now back in stock. All right. We've also in here, we've got the Kohana needle sharpeners. So these are little ceramic needle sharpeners, magnetic needle sharpeners. There's a magnet that's baked inside of here so that you can use this as a magnetic needle rest as well. And then there's this little hole here on the side. And what you're gonna do is you stick your needle into that little hole. You'll feel it kind of stick in there. You give it a little turn, and that helps to sharpen the tip of your needle and extend the life of your needle. Especially when, if you've been doing sashiko for a while, your needle will start to kind of get dull, and it's a lot easier to stitch when your needle is nice and sharp. So a needle sharpener can help extend the life of your needles before needing to replace them over and over. Can sashiko needles go on the plane? Yes, absolutely. I take sashiko on the plane all the time. That's my go-to travel project, and I've never had a problem with taking sashiko needles or sashiko supplies at all on the planes. So yeah, so this is the Kohana needle sharpener. Again, it comes in green, blue, white, and yellow. And these were super popular at QuiltCon. We came back and I think we only had 2 left. So we've got all the colors back and a pretty good restock of these. And then the last thing that's in this box from Kohana is the spool pin holders. So this is what it looks like in there. And what these are, again, they're ceramic. There is a magnet that is baked in down here and it's hollow. There's cork at the bottom. And this is a place to rest your pins. They magnetize to the outside as well. So with mine, what I tend to do is I keep it on the arm of my sewing machine. And so as I am pulling pins as I sew, I just kind of throw them in this direction and they pop into this little holder, and it's super duper cute. Looks like a little sewing spool. The green one was in production and it's in this box. So the green is now back in stock, but there's the red, the blue, and the green is what I am stocking now. So a very nice box of Kohana restock is here, thankfully, because we were running super low on all of that stuff. All right, so the last box that I have here is heading more towards the stationery side of things. Is there an actual Kohana shop in Japan? Yes, in Tokyo they have. I don't know if they have like their own shop or they have like a shop inside of a department store. But if you go to the Kohana Instagram, they post about it all the time, and they actually post, it's in Japanese, but you can hit the translate now and it'll kind of give you a English translation sort of what it says. But the calendar is there of the dates when they are open. So there is you can, if you go to Tokyo, you can visit a Kohana and see all of their awesome things, because I only carry a very small portion of what they produce, but they produce all sorts of beautiful scissors and canvas tote bags, needles, pins. Yeah, so if you're going to Japan, make sure and put Kohana on your list. All right, so sticking to Japan, but moving to the stationery side, we've got kind of a random assortment of stationery supplies in this box. These are the O-Band rubber bands. And so this is actually a Japanese rubber band company. These are super fun rubber bands that come in a rainbow of colors. Oh, thank you. I'm going to Japan around June 5th. Have a wonderful, wonderful time. Yeah, there's lots. If you are going to Osaka, make sure to connect with Sashiko Lab if Sashiko is your thing. She teaches Sashiko classes in English, and she does Sashiko tours I think she's in Osaka, either Osaka or Kyoto. So if you're heading that way, make sure to check out Sashiko Lab on Instagram. All right, so we've got rubber bands. We have silicone rubber bands for anyone that's allergic to latex. These are silicone. They come in blue, red, and white. And see, these are the blue ones. We have loads and loads of washi tape in here. The Morning Glory. This is the embroidery line washi tape. We've got the embroidered flowers. This is all the MT washi tape, which is, again, from Japan. MT is the original makers of washi tape. They are the ones that developed washi tape. And so this is a whole box of MT washi tape in here. Let's see what else is in here. We've got the four-corner book bands. I know I will. I don't know yet my return time. Well, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful time on your trip. These are huge rubber bands. They're called four-corner book bands. You can use them to put stacks of books together. I've got pictures on the website. If you look up four-corner bands, you'll see what they look like, because I'm not doing a good job of explaining. Here's kind of a picture on the back. But again, these are super popular. Whenever they come back in stock, I have folks that will order like 5 or 6 of them at a time. But I've got a good restock in here of those. We also have so with stationery stuff, it's kind of funny because I tend to just experiment with different things that I find interesting. A very good portion of my salary when I was working in Japan went to Japanese stationery stores. There was a stationery shop on my walk home from my office to my apartment, and I would stop in there almost every day. So I love Japanese stationery. I think it's super cute. And so when I find kind of stuff that I find interesting, that's what I add to the shop. So there isn't always a rhyme or reason to what Japanese stationery I add into the shop. But I thought these were super cool, and apparently you all did too. These are, this is the Memnock, this is the lined roll dispenser. So these are, what do you call them? Post-it notes, like sticky notes, but the whole paper is sticky. You can pull it right off of the dispenser, rip it off like you would like a washi tape, stick it onto your notebook. It's removable, and there's two versions. It's always in this bright yellow color, but this is the kind of straight line version, and then there's a grid version. So they're great for note-taking, you know, annotating books, all that kind of stuff. And so I have both the dispenser version and the refills. Once you have the dispenser, you need the refills. Yes, I'm going to Japan next week. Any must-sees besides Kohana Sashiko Lab will be all around the country. My daughter says there's a stationery shop that's on 9 floors. You know I'll be going there. Yeah, I mean, must-sees in terms of like fabric and stitching. I am drawing a blank. Wonderful. I've been waiting for the restock of those lined sticky notes. Yay! So they're here. The restock of the notes, both the lined and the grid, are in this box. So I was lucky enough I've lived in various parts of Japan. I lived in Nagoya for a while, which is kind of halfway between Kyoto and Tokyo. And then when I moved back to work there, I was living on Kyushu, on the southern island, in a fishing village on the west coast of the island called Nobeoka. And so if you have a chance to get off of the main island of Honshu and go down to either Kyushu or up to Hokkaido, I would highly recommend checking out kind of the further reaches in Japan, because they are often less traveled to, but there's so much awe-inspiring beauty there that I would highly recommend. And of course, there's so many different onsens. There's a lot of volcanoes on the southern island, and so there's volcanic sand onsens where like they bury you in volcanic sand, which sounds kind of weird, but is actually the most relaxing thing ever. So yeah, all these wonderful trips to Japan. That's wonderful that so many of you are going. It's one of my favorite places in the world, and I hope that you all have wonderful, wonderful trips there. All right, let's see. What else is in this box? So yeah, there's lots more washi tape is in here. We've got some of the German Duroplex pencil sharpeners are in here. Both the pastel version and the red version is in here somewhere. These come in all these cute little pastel colors. And so these are made in Germany. The blades are replaceable, so you can use them over and over. Once blades start getting dull, you can get replacement blades for these and continue using it in case. I use these a lot with my Clover, the white chalk pencil, which I use with a lot of the Sashiko stencils and stuff. These pencil sharpeners are really nice and sharp, so I tend to use those a lot with those. All right, so those are all of the boxes that I pulled for the opening today. But like I said, as soon as I got back from QuiltCon last week, as I was on my couch trying to breathe through my head cold, I was placing a ton of reorders. So in the next week or so, I'm expecting a lot more stuff. Glad to see you're feeling better. So am I. Last week was pretty rough. It wasn't COVID, which was great, and I'm thankful for that. But I just feel like since the pandemic, I feel like colds and stuff are sticking around a lot longer, and my head just felt like it was going to explode. But I'm awake, which is good because I was also sleeping a ton. So I'm glad I'm feeling better. Thanks, Courtney. Yeah, so lots of restocking that is happening. If you were looking at my QuiltCon stuff, you got a peek at some of the new stuff that I didn't have a chance to list on the website before I went to QuiltCon that is going to be coming. Particularly, I've got some gorgeous new hand-dyed threads from Steph Francis that I actually need to reorder before I list them because they were so popular they almost sold out while we were at QuiltCon. So I'll be reordering those before they go up. Keep eating soup. Yes, I've eaten a lot of soup. Thank you. Yeah, so lots of exciting stuff coming up. Next open studio is next week, Saturday, March 16th, open studios are the days when I open up like a regular retail shop from 10 to 4, and you're welcome to come in and shop in person. So that'll be coming up on March 16th. Yeah, there you go. So that's the unboxing. I am going to try to get back in the habit of doing these unboxings and what's news on a weekly or every other week basis. So keep an eye out for those. Thank you so much for everybody that joined me, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. Happy Monday. Thanks so much. Bye.